Hello everybody, Sanjita here, and today we're going to be talking about the Phoenix Squad, specifically which ones get left out. The first part of the discussion, I'm gonna be talking mainly about end game perspective, because that's where I am, that's what I can speak to most. And later on, I'm gonna try to cover what I think you should work on as a beginner player, or maybe even a mid game player, because end game is gonna be a lot different than mid game. So to start, we have obviously, Captain Rex has made this faction amazing. They can do some incredible stuff, including beating Lord Vader, which I'm going to do a little bit later. And the team, which is kind of considered the best team in the game, like from a super team perspective, which is Lord Vader with Reva and Maul, Grand Inquisitor, all that. It's crazy team, but they can do it. So to start off, there are two absolutely mandatory Phoenix you have to use. Obviously, you have to use Hera, because she is the leader and she is the one that's allowing you to share your uniques across everybody. And it's nice because she also gives extra turn meter. And that is mainly what we care about. We don't care about as much offense, defense, health, protection. We care about turn meter, speed, and potency, which is, I'll explain a little bit more in a bit. Obviously need Captain Rex too, so those are the two mandatory elements to the team. Also mandatory, semi-mandatory is Chopper, because if you're going to do the kind of turn meter loop team that I'm going to recommend you do, you need Chopper mainly because of his basic, because he has a chance to reduce an ally's cooldown by 1 every time he assists, and you're going to be assisting constantly because of Rex. He also gives lots of nice buffs, defense up, offense up, speed up. With the current Datacron set, you might have speed up anyway, so maybe that'll force you to get offense up or defense up. But that is really crucial because you need to be using special abilities to assist because of Captain Rex's unique down here. Whenever any other Phoenix ally uses a special ability, Rex is dealing 40% less damage. And if you're new to the Phoenix faction, you don't fully understand, the way they share uniques is, even though it says just Rex, like that applies to anyone. So anytime you can just start any character, anytime Hera, Ezra, Kanan, Zeb, anytime any of them assist, everyone else is going to assist, or anytime they use a special ability, anyone else is going to assist. So that is the key component of us getting going and starting to loop. Also, this move is the best first move almost out of any team, I feel like, because you inflict tenacity down on everyone, daze on everyone, and give tons of turn meter to everyone for each debuff, which could be like, so there's 2 debuffs there, and 3 debuffs, 5 enemies, so that could be like 45% turn meter max, which is crazy. So he's mandatory too, and the way he works with Chopper is going to be pretty much indispensable. Another thing Chopper brings to the table, and what's really nice about him, he doesn't have Zadis, so that is super nice. This ability doesn't really matter, you don't care about him taunting, you just spam it just to use a special. But this ability dispels buffs, and for each buff dispelled, you remove 10% turn meter from enemies, which is really important to keep the drain going sometimes when you're not landing stagger. He also recovers health for the team and gives protection up. He has an extra chance to assist, even on the mass assist, so he might assist double, give a double chance to get that cooldown reduction. So we got the first 3 there. And then with the other 4, like I said, we're not talking about offense, defense, protection, any of that. We're talking about turn meter specifically. And, I've seen other videos talking about it, and the Gerbil theorized that I think Kanan and Ezra can go together, or Sabine and Zeb, and I understand the thought, because Zeb does daze on his basic, or he does stun whenever they're dazed or staggered, and that works well with Sabine, and also the daze from Captain Rex. But he doesn't do a ton for us with turn meter. That doesn't have any turn meter here. He can give a stagger here, and he gains turn meter for himself, but it's not helping us really loop around, and he gives a lot of extra protection and protection recovery, but the way we're running the team, we don't want the enemy to take many turns at all, so that's really not going to be our big concern. Also, Ezra, I am a huge Ezra fan, but I don't think he makes the cut. He does have good turn meter when calling support allies to assist, but we have enough turn meter gain through others that we don't need extra turn meter gain on our attacker. We need a way to reduce the enemy's turn meter, which Ezra doesn't have. This is a very nice ability. I haven't put the Zeta on. You get tons of turn meter for Ezra if you do have it on. It has good damage and has a Dispel, and his basic can hit twice, which is very nice. But we really want Sabine and Kanan. And they have some amazing Zetas for the team, which are going to be our main focus. So the first one I'm going to look at is Demolish. And this makes this AoE ability an AoE stagger. So she has a chance to land AoE stagger, which means you want some potency on her. Even though they have Tenacity down from Rex's opening move, you still want potency here. And the stagger is the key thing. She does give crit damage, critical chance, which we're not super concerned about, especially if we're facing Lord Vader, because a lot of our hits aren't going to be crits. And Armor Shred is really important too. She stacks up the Armor Shreds over time. She has a triple hit on the basic, so she can be a really good damage dealer. But our main thing with her is the stagger. So the way I modded her is just for speed and potency, because we want her taking as many turns as possible along with Rex. And our loss condition for Lord Vader, and I'm assuming a lot of others, is going to be landing those staggers. So I have her just up to 100% potency. Not a ton, it's just what I could do. And then Kanan, I think he's going to be a staple both late game and early game, but right now our discussion is on late game. He gives counter chance and health recovery from debuffs, which is nice, but it's not the main thing we want here. The main thing we care about is this Zeta is amazing, and I just applied it this week because I finally got all the Phoenix 2 Relic 3 so I can actually use them. This is such a complete boon for turn meter train. He grants Foresight to himself and a target ally for 2 turns, and then when each of the Foresights expire, he gets 100% turn meter, so that's twice in a row he's going to get 100% turn meter, and all other Phoenix allies gain 50% turn meter. That is massive. This is one of the best Zetas on the team. You're going to need Captain Rex, of course, but after that, I think Kanan might be second in line. Everything else, you don't care too much. I mean, he taunts. Hopefully that's not going to be come into play or be an issue. Offense sound the basic is kind of nice, but it's not. I don't know. It's not incredible. But it's mainly just that total defense, and it's a cleanse for everybody, which is great. Anytime you have a total cleanse, it's amazing. But that Foresight Terminator clause, it's just incredible. Another optional Zeta, I was able to make this work without it, is Hera's Special, because this is just normally a pretty basic call to assist. Gives extra potency and a little bit more damage. But when you put the Zeta on, she reduces cooldowns and gives 50% turn meter. So you can target who to use this on. I would opt for either Sabine or Rex, whichever one has the least turn meter or you think is farthest away from getting off cooldown. That really helps keep the loop going. And the backup plan's kind of nice too. I always would put her on Rex because he's the only indispensable member of the team that you can't let die. So that is the discussion there for why you pick each person. As far as modding, I talked about Sabine. I think for Rex, you mainly just want speed and also potency. Yes, he inflicts tenacity down, and I don't even have too much potency here. Yes, he inflicts tenacity down, but you can still get that daze resisted, which is very crucial to land. So you want all the potency on him. Hera, I think you just want her to go fast. I have plus 132 on her, which is way faster than I ever had before. And then everything else, I don't think I really cared about. Same thing with Chopper. You just want him to go fast because you get a lot of turn meter, but there are some gaps where you're not fully turn metered up. So you want the speed there. Chopper, I guess he could use some like offense maybe if you want to branch out, but I literally just cared about some survivability and speed. And then Kanan, I didn't make him super fast because he's getting the 100% turn meter all the time. I just kind of built him like a normal tank, but give him more of a health focus because he likes health. And the whole team gets a lot of health from Rex's unique. And I gave him some defense too, so just a little bit, but he has kind of low defense to begin with. And most importantly, before I go into this battle, just notice the three of the supporting cast members are R3, which it makes this even more impressive. And now finally here we are at the playtest. So this is the comp we talked about. I'm taking in against Lord Vader team. One with Reva, Grand Inquisitor, and Seventh Sister. And this is the one I made a video about not too long ago, but how do you beat this team? Because even JMK struggles against it with Reva there. Very formidable team. However, it is actually easier to beat than a Lord Vader team with Piet. So if you are determined to set Lord Vader on defense and your opponent has Phoenix up and running, you probably want to set Piet because the way Piet works, let me find him. He gains turn meter with his unique from getting hit. Yeah, he gains 5% damage or turn meter whenever another enemy Empire ally takes damage. And when Lord Vader opens up with his AoE, we dispel it with either Rex's Omicron or the level 9 Datacron, which you kind of need for this to work in Squad Arena. So normally, he never gets counterattacked on his AoE because he's inflicting daze. But we shrug off the daze. Because of Kanan, we get a lot of counterattacks on Lord Vader. And if we get enough, Piet will just take a turn right after Maul gets his frenzy, and even jump in front of Rex, even if Rex is faster, because Rex gets tons of extra speed from this and his Omicron, so it's going to be like over 400 speed, but all that turn meter can be fed to Piet. However, without Piet there, it's very nice, that AoE, because Rex gives us turn meter for whenever we take a debuff. And it's just kind of an order of operations thing. Piet can win that turn meter overflow battle. But this is actually a great match for it. They have the Bolt Cron. They have the 10% offense thing, which isn't important. This is kind of an offense build. So let's go. Keep in mind, this is not a 100% counter. There are things that can go wrong. Like if you get 6 stacks of Purge on someone, Grand Inquisitor's going to take a bonus turn. If you don't land Daze on Maul, it's going to be a problem too. So we got the days on Maul, so that's our first step towards victory. I'm going to save that one. Just put this on Sabine. She's looking a little weak. And let's cleanse off. That's going to be a lot of bonus turn meter coming in. I really want the Stagger to come in with Sabine. Yep, there we go. And Chopper's coming in, remove some buffs and turn meter. Look at that turn meter removal on Grand Inquisitor. Just fantastic. And look how much progress we're making on Reva. She is a high damage character, high survivability character, but we are just working through here. And the cleanse for the Purge from Kanan is super crucial, just because you see we were getting a lot of Purge there. So I'm gonna put out backup plan. I have it on 2 people now, and Kanan, see when that foresight expires, they just get so much turn meter. So keep cleansing. The more of that move you get with him, the better. That is just one of the most important moves here. So I kind of wanted to save that because they don't have any turn meter, but I need to do a special to keep the train going. So we get an armor shred here. Fantastic. And get that daze and more turn meter. Spam a special. Cleanse as often as possible. Always hit that move. And, you know, this is like borderline full autoable. But I wouldn't really want to risk it. Because there are choices to be made. Okay, Reva's down and she has Hatred no longer. So she has less health, offense and defense. And Lord Vader hasn't even gotten close to taking a turn yet, which is not always the case. Like, he's not getting his turn meter removed, so he can go sometimes. Oh, and we need that cleanse. Kanan. Okay, we have no choice but to hit Lord Vader. Okay, good, because we had 5 stacks of Purge. We were close to getting 6. I'll put that on Kanan just because he's taunting. Got a gun down Lord Vader. He took like 1 turn. This is insane. This would be like a full banner win in Grand Arena. Like, what on earth? Yeah, and we have 2 minutes left. That wasn't even close to being a timeout risk. This is Phoenix. This was the laughing stock of the game until this Rex came out. Just such an incredible team now. I've only really been able to practice against Lord Vader in Arena because it's either Lord Vader or JMK, and this absolutely will not work against JMK without turn meter manipulation. But my plan in Grand Arena is, I don't know, I'm going to take out a lot of stuff. They might be able to beat Rey, maybe. They might be able to beat Spring Lord Kylo, depending on who gets stunned at the beginning and if they survive. I don't know. I don't think Sith Eternal Emperor will be an option just because the Link will charge him up super fast. Maybe it could be, but there's just so many possibilities that are opening up. And now time for a little bonus battle. I didn't initially plan on taking Phoenix vs. Jabba, mainly just because I don't usually see them But I felt a little bit because I had Phoenix in and people were probably taking advantage with JMK or whatever. It's nothing special. I mean, Mabush has a little bit of speed. Chrysanthemum, it's not over 200k protection, but it's still decent. All R7, Embo in the lineup, which is pretty common in GAC. But I was surprised at how well this went. This was actually a little slow here, so there we go. But yeah, we also, the problem with Jabba is, you know, you start out with Deadly Bluff on the team. But that only prevents assists. So we're not assisting right now, but we're still getting turn meter. And then we can still remove turn meter for them. We got the days landed. You kind of want to be strategic with that assist from Hera, whoever needs a cleanse, whoever's cooldowns you want to reduce. And you can get in danger from the bombs early on, so just keep an eye out for if they're picking on someone, try to give them backup plan. Hera, there I gave it to Kanan just because he's taunting. And in this battle, Hera does die, but we still pull it off. So their Chopper is getting a little bit close too. And he's going to get his special where he recovers some protection at some point in here. Let's see, yeah, I targeted Chopper to reduce his cooldowns because I want to get the Dispel ability with him. Remove some turn meter and heal up. But just all these assists, yeah, he like always died there. And the first time I tried this, it was really smooth. I didn't lose anyone, and that wasn't really a problem. But we're just burning through Chrysanthemum even. And then we're just free to take on Boushh. Look at Jabba's ultimate bar. It's just not very far at all. So at this point, it's just off to the races. It reminds me of the old, you know, Imperial Troopers could take out Jabba in some circumstances when you had the Grit Kron. It's just like a way more reliable troopers because that's what the turn meter reminds me of, but it's not dependent on getting kills. And look how much the damage is stacking up from all this. There's only 3 bombs on Hera, but she died from just 3 bombs, so I was kind of surprised. I thought I had a little bit more time there. Goodbye, Embo. Keep spamming the specials. We lose a little bit of a step without Hera because we're not getting an extra 20% turn meter from doing our specials. But she's kind of the least impactful in terms of like what their specials do and the assists. But yeah, just ripping through them in just over 2 minutes. Crazy. So now that we've looked at what these guys can do in the end game with the right setup, let's talk about early game, because early game you don't have the relics, you don't have the Datacrons, you probably won't even have the Omicron. So I think you really need to just keep in mind availability, overlapping currencies, and what's actually going to help you early game. I think Ezra is definitely an important sub in. I think you want him instead of Sabine early because you can farm him easily on a Cantina node. It comes with Kanan too, so I think you definitely want those two. Super easy. And then hold off on Sabine because you're already farming Rex on a hard node with energy, and Sabine is also on a hard node with energy. She does come with her ship, so it won't be a bad farm. Like, it's something you're going to want to get, but I think you want to start with Hera, Rex, Ezra, Kanan, and then probably Chopper. Zeb might be a good substitute just because he's the easiest to get out of them all. You just need Galactic War Store currency, and I guess you could do Guild Event Store, but I would not recommend that. So it just costs 400 Cantina Store energy, or Galactic War energy. However, not having to do him opens you up to farming ships a little bit sooner, or working on ships-based characters. So you might be able to pass on Zeb, but he's going to be super nice early game because the way he's assisting and stunning when they have days. It's going to be fantastic. But you have to have Hera, you have to have Rex. I think Ezra and Kanan are the easiest way to go. It's unfortunate that she's a hard node farm as well. So you got 2 hard node farms. You don't want to add a 3rd with Sabine. And you don't lose too much early. I mean, you're not going to run the insane turn meter train very early game. Kanan is great for the counterattacks, really helpful for survivability. You actually need him as a tank early game. And then Chopper, you know, Chopper, if I'm putting Zeb, if you're putting Zeb in there, I'd put him in instead of Chopper. Because you don't need like the crazy turn meter loops with the cooldown reduction. Just whatever works for you. He's a little slower to get in the Cantina energy, Cantina currency store. No, not Cantina. Yeah, Cantina energy store. But yeah, I would just cut out Sabine for sure early game and make it work. I started with Phoenix. It was my first team in 2019, and it was fantastic. In Galactic War, by the time I got to Grand Arena, wasn't super helpful, but that's going to be different now, and Rex, just amazing. That's it for this one. Let me know if you have extra questions. I'll do my best to answer in the comments. I never thought I would see Phoenix the day when Phoenix is taking out Galactic Legends and rank 8 in Squad Arena, for goodness sake. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like if you did enjoy, and sub if you haven't already. Appreciate you guys. See you later.